Feudalism, reading on page 344 and 345. Around 800, a system of government called feudalism developed as a way to keep the peace in Europe. To help control their lands, most kings divided them into fiefs. A fief is a land a king or other powerful landowner would give to nobles. In return, these nobles swore to give the king their loyalty, support in a war, and promise to keep the peace. These nobles, who took an oath of loyalty to their lords, were called vassals. Serfs and manors. When a noble received a fief, he also received the peasants who worked the land. These peasants were called serfs. Serfs lived in villages around a fortified house that belonged to the fief's owner or lord. A settlement like this was called a manor. A manor would also probably have a church. Serfs were not slaves, but they were not permitted to leave the manor without their lord's permission. They also had to pay taxes and crops, and by working for their lord. A hard life. For most, life was hard in the early Middle Ages. Peasants grew barely enough food. War and disease were common, and most people died at an early age. In time, conditions began to improve. Around AD 1000, great changes in European life began. Farmers started to use improved methods of farming, which allowed them to produce more food. Town and trade began to revive. Much trade was for short distances. A farmer, for example, brought extra crops to market. However, people also began to travel longer distances to towns with skilled crafts workers, such as weavers or goldsmiths. Sometimes nobles founded a town in order to collect taxes on its trade. Towns also gave commoners hope for the future. By moving to a town, serfs could escape harsh life on the manors. One saying was, "Town air makes you free." In some places, a serf was free if he or she remained in a town for a year and a day. Peasants also built new settlements in cleared forests or settled land near monks who wanted to live away from the busy medieval life. The Code of Knighthood. Nobles in the Middle Ages saw themselves as those who fight. In the feudal system, nobles agreed to fight for a king or a powerful landowner in return for land. The English word for these soldiers is knight. Knights usually fought from horseback in armor. Religion influenced the growing idea of chivalry. Chivalry is the code of conduct that knights believed they should follow. In addition to fighting, knights were supposed to know music and poetry and to have good manners. A knight was also supposed to be a good Christian and defend the church. One person who helped make the idea of chivalry popular was Eleanor of Antiquain. She was the wife of a French king and later of an English king. In 1140s, Eleanor spread the ideas of chivalry among French knights.